What if I told you that no matter how chaotic life gets, your mind could stay calm and unshakable, like a rock in the middle of a storm? Imagine mastering your inner world so deeply that nothing, absolutely nothing, can disturb your peace. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a flood of emotions, anger, frustration, or sadness, and instantly reacted only to regret it later? What if there was a way to break free from being a slave to those emotions and regain full control over your reactions? In a world moving at breakneck speed, bombarded by stress and unpredictable challenges, the one thing you truly control is your mind. Today, you'll learn how to train your mind to stay calm, focused, and resilient, no matter what life throws your way. In today's fast-paced world, where every moment is filled with a relentless stream of emotions, stress, and challenges that can easily overwhelm us, there is one powerful truth you need to remember. You have control over your mind. Your mind can become as steady and unshakable as a mountain, calm, focused, and resilient in the face of any storm. This is not some impossible ideal or a call to suppress your feelings or pretend you're unaffected. Instead, it's about mastering your inner landscape so deeply that nothing can break your peace, no matter how intense or unpredictable life becomes. In this episode, we're going to explore 10 unbreakable mental rules, proven strategies you can start applying today to train your mind to stay calm in any situation. These aren't just empty theories or vague advice. These are actionable, practical steps that will help you take back control of your emotional state, navigate life's toughest challenges with clear-headedness, and maintain your composure when chaos surrounds you. Let's dive in and unlock the secret to cultivating a calm, unshakable mind, one that empowers you to face anything with unwavering strength and resilience. Rule 1. Separate your feelings from your reactions. You are not a slave to your emotions. How often have you found yourself overwhelmed by a situation, feeling a surge of anger, frustration, or sadness, and then immediately reacting without thinking? It's easy to believe that our emotions must dictate our actions, that when something happens, we are forced to respond emotionally, as if we have no choice or control. But here's the truth. While emotions are natural and real, they don't have to control your behavior. The strongest minds are those that can recognize their emotions clearly without letting those feelings drive their reactions. Usually the very first response to any situation is emotional. You might feel hurt by a harsh comment, angry at an unfair circumstance, or upset by something someone did. And yes, these feelings are valid and authentic, but they don't have to decide what you do next. The key to true mental strength is learning to create a space between feeling and acting. Just because you feel something intensely doesn't mean you have to act on it right away. The moment you realize this, you reclaim your power over your emotions instead of letting them run the show. Think about it. How many times have you reacted in anger, only to regret your words or decisions later? Maybe you snapped at someone or made a hasty choice in the heat of the moment, something you wouldn't have done if you had paused and reflected first. Emotions are powerful, but they are also fleeting. They come and go like waves. If you react impulsively, however, you risk creating consequences that last far longer than the emotion itself. What you can control is your response, and the more you practice this ability to separate feeling from reaction, the less power your emotions will have over you. This is the timeless wisdom the Stoics taught us, the power of self-control and emotional mastery. Following the idea of recognizing and separating emotions from actions, let's now explore how to control your reactions to external triggers, maintaining calm and mastery over your mind. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, reminded us that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but how we respond to them. In other words, although you cannot always control what happens, you can control how you react. This means you have the power to pause, take a deep breath, and choose your response rather than simply reacting based on immediate emotions. So, how can you start applying this rule today? The next time you feel a strong emotion rising, whether it's anger, frustration, or even excitement, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this feeling serving me or limiting me? In that moment, separate the emotion from the action. You don't have to ignore how you feel, but you can choose not to let that feeling dictate your behavior. Instead of reacting automatically, allow yourself to respond with clarity, purpose, and control. Imagine today, instead of being swept away by your emotions, you took a moment to breathe, reflect, and choose your response. By doing this, you not only protect your peace of mind, but also strengthen your ability to stay calm and focused no matter what life throws your way. Rule 2. When life provokes you, don't show weakness. How many times have you been provoked by someone? Whether it's a colleague pushing your buttons, a friend challenging your choices, or even a stranger making an offhand comment that irritates you, the urge to react is strong. It feels natural to defend yourself, react emotionally, or prove a point. But here's the reality. Every time you react impulsively, you give away your power. The bigger your reaction, the easier it is for life or others to control your emotions. And in turn, your actions. When you're provoked, especially in moments of stress or frustration, the strongest response is often to not react at all. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. They knew the key to maintaining control over your life isn't about controlling what happens around you, but controlling how you respond to those events. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflected on how important it is to maintain calm in the face of provocation, reminding himself that he could control his actions but not the behavior of others. When we react with anger or frustration, we relinquish control and become slaves to the very situation or person we're reacting to. Think about it. When someone insults you, how often do you feel the urge to defend yourself or lash out? Maybe it's a quick comment from a coworker, a snide remark from a family member, or even an online troll. These moments can trigger strong emotional responses. But what does reacting in those moments actually accomplish? More often than not, it escalates the situation, causing more stress, anger, or regret. You may feel temporarily vindicated, but the truth is, you've just given away your peace of mind to someone else's provocation. Instead of reacting emotionally, the key is to pause and take a step back. Acknowledge the provocation for what it is, an attempt to control or manipulate your emotions. By not reacting, you demonstrate your strength. You show that you are in control of your feelings, not a prisoner to them. You take the power back, and in doing so, You show others they cannot manipulate you with their words or actions. When you maintain your calm, even in the face of provocation, you not only protect your peace of mind, but also elevate yourself above the situation, showing wisdom and composure. So, how can you apply this rule when provoked? Start by recognizing the signs that you're about to react, whether it's a rising sense of irritation or the urge to set someone straight. Take a moment to pause and ask yourself, is this worth reacting to? What is my goal here? Building on the idea of choosing your response instead of being controlled by emotions, let's explore how to maintain your peace and take charge of your life when faced with provocations or challenges. Taking just a few seconds to breathe deeply and decide how to respond prevents the situation from controlling you. You take the high road by preserving your inner calm and refusing to get dragged into someone else's drama. Imagine today, instead of reacting to every provocation with anger or frustration, you choose silence or a calm, measured response. You recognize that your emotional energy is valuable and that you don't need to give it away to every challenging situation. By doing this, you maintain control over your life and emotions, feeling stronger and more peaceful in every interaction. Rule 3. Accept that life will never be fair, but you will adapt. Anyway, how often have you felt frustrated when life didn't follow the rules you expected? Maybe it's unfair treatment at work, setbacks in your personal life, or simply the unexpected curveballs life throws your way. We've all wished for a world where things go according to plan, where people are treated fairly, and everything aligns just as we think it should. But here's the truth. Life is inherently unfair. Trying to make it otherwise will only leave you disappointed, angry, and stuck. The Stoics understood well that life would never be perfectly just or fair. They recognized that external circumstances, other people's behavior, and the world, in general, are beyond our control. Instead of wasting energy resisting life's chaos and unfairness, the Stoics focused on what they could control, their responses to these challenges. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that suffering does not come from external events but from our resistance to them. In other words, the frustration we feel doesn't stem from life's unfairness, but from our refusal to accept and adapt. Think about it. When something unfair happens, whether being passed over for a promotion, dealing with an unexpected loss, or witnessing injustice, how do you usually react? It's easy to feel angry, resentful, or defeated and to ask, why me? But these reactions only keep you stuck in the past and prevent you from moving forward. The truth is, life's unfairness isn't a reason to suffer, it's a call to adapt. The more you fight against life's injustices, the more powerless and frustrated you'll feel. But when you accept that life will never be fair, you free yourself from this struggle and gain the power to move forward despite the unfairness. The key to peace of mind is not expecting fairness, but learning to adapt to the reality of the situation. This doesn't mean you should accept injustice or stop advocating for what's right, but it means acknowledging that life will always throw obstacles in your path, and your ability to navigate those obstacles with grace is what truly matters. By accepting that life is unpredictable and unfair, you stop wasting emotional energy on things outside your control and focus on how to move forward in a way that aligns with your values and purpose. So how can you apply this mindset today? Next time something unfair happens, instead of getting angry or asking, "Why me?" take a step back and reflect. Ask yourself, how can I deal with this in the best possible way? What's my next step? By accepting life's unfairness, you take away its power to harm you. You recognize that you can't change what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond and choose to move forward. Imagine today, instead of resisting life's injustices, you embrace the reality that things won't always be fair. You accept what you cannot control and focus on how to adapt and grow. By doing so, you would not only find peace of mind, but also, building on the acceptance of life's realities and focusing on adaptation, let's explore how to maintain your inner strength by letting go of the need to over-explain yourself. When you learn to accept what you cannot control, you also build the resilience needed to face whatever life throws your way. Rule 4. Stop explaining yourself. No one deserves to fully understand you. How often do you find yourself constantly justifying your actions or decisions to others? Whether it's your career choices, lifestyle, or personal values, the need to explain yourself can sometimes feel overwhelming. Modern society often pressures us to validate our choices and seek approval from others. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for who you are, what you do, or how you choose to live your life. The more you try to explain yourself, the more you relinquish your power and control. The desire to be understood is deeply ingrained in human nature. We all want others to see us for who we truly are, understand our intentions, and validate our choices. However, the reality is that the more you try to explain yourself, the more you expose yourself to judgment and criticism. When you seek validation from others, you start living according to their expectations, not your own. You begin to shape your life around the idea that you need to be understood and accepted by everyone. A losing battle. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that's perfectly okay. The Stoics taught us to focus on living according to our own values and principles, not based on the expectations or understanding of others. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reminded himself that the opinions of others were beyond his control. Instead of seeking approval or validation from those around him, he chose to live in alignment with his own moral compass. Knowing true peace comes from within. Stoic wisdom teaches that the more you focus on seeking external approval, the more you lose sight of your own truth and the purpose behind your actions. Think about how often you felt the need to explain your decisions even when they were clearly the best choices for you. Whether it's pursuing an unconventional career, choosing to live alone, or not following societal norms, we can get trapped in the cycle of needing to be understood. But when you stop explaining yourself, you stop being a prisoner to the opinions of others. You reclaim your autonomy and confidence, living authentically without needing to justify every action. So how can you stop explaining yourself and start living freely? Begin by recognizing when you feel the urge to justify your actions. When someone asks, "Why did you do that?" Instead of offering a long explanation, simply respond, "Because I decided to." Your actions don't need anyone's approval, and you don't owe anyone a justification. By letting go of the need to explain, you'll begin to feel more confident in your decisions, knowing they are yours alone to make. Imagine today, instead of feeling compelled to explain every decision you make, you simply own your choices. You stop seeking validation from others and start living according to your own values. By doing so, you will feel more empowered and at peace, knowing your worth is not dependent on others' understanding, but comes from your own self-awareness and integrity. Building on the idea of maintaining your autonomy by stopping the need to explain yourself, let's now explore how to take control of your mood, because you alone are responsible for your emotions. Rule 5. No one should control your mood. That power belongs to you. Have you ever had someone or something completely derail your mood? Maybe it was a harsh comment from a coworker, a disagreement with a friend, or simply a tough situation that spiraled out of control. It's easy to feel like external circumstances dictate how we feel. We often tell ourselves, "I was having a great day until this happened," as if someone else's words or actions have the power to control our reactions. But here's the crucial truth. Your emotions are your responsibility. No one can control your mood unless you allow them to. The moment you let someone's behavior affect your mood, you lose your power and become a passive participant in your own emotional experience. The Stoics understood this well. They taught that our emotions are not caused by external events, but by how we choose to interpret those events. When you allow someone's words, actions, or the circumstances around you to dictate how you feel, you are essentially giving up control over your emotional state. The Stoics believed that we can choose our reactions no matter how intense the situation may be. Think about it. When someone insults you or when life throws you an unexpected challenge, how quickly do you feel yourself getting angry, frustrated, or upset? It's an automatic response. But here lies an opportunity for growth. Instead of reacting, you can choose to respond differently. You can take a deep breath, detach yourself from the situation, and decide not to let it affect you. Your mood, your peace of mind, and your emotional state are yours to control. No one else holds that power unless you give it to them. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending you don't get upset. It means recognizing that your emotional responses are within your control. You can acknowledge the feelings that arise, but you don't have to let them control you. The power lies in choosing to stay grounded and not letting external forces pull you off balance. When you practice emotional discipline, you can remain calm and centered regardless of what's happening around you. So how can you start taking control of your mood today? Begin by noticing when you feel your emotions being triggered, whether it's frustration, anger, or even sadness. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, do I want to give away my power and let this affect me? If the answer is no, take a deep breath, reset your focus, and choose a different reaction. Remember, your mood is your responsibility, and you have the ability to decide how you feel. Imagine today, instead of letting someone else's actions dictate your emotional state, you take control and choose to remain calm and centered. You don't let external forces disrupt your inner peace. By doing this, you will experience a greater sense of empowerment, knowing that your happiness is in your hands, not anyone else's. Building on mastering your mood, let's now explore the power of silence, a potent tool to maintain calm and control any situation. Silence disarms tension. It forces others to sit with their own emotions and gives you the opportunity to remain calm, collected, and in control. The Stoics deeply understood the power of silence. Marcus Aurelius, in particular, knew that a wise person does not react impulsively, but instead takes a moment to assess the situation with clarity and restraint. When we speak too quickly, we often regret our words or unnecessarily escalate conflicts. But by practicing silence, we avoid saying things that could damage our peace of mind or relationships. Silence gives you time to reflect, think through your response, and choose words that add value rather than simply reacting out of emotion. Think about how often we feel the urge to fill silence with words, defending ourselves, justifying our actions, or trying to convince others of our perspective. Yet in doing so, we often make the situation worse. In contrast, silence lets you control the narrative. It shifts the focus from emotional reactions to thoughtful responses. It forces others to deal with their own emotions and can even leave them wondering why you didn't respond. When used strategically, silence can make others reconsider their behavior and de-escalate conflicts in ways words often cannot. So how can you start using silence as your weapon today? The next time you find yourself in a tense situation, whether an argument or a conversation designed to provoke you, pause before speaking. Give yourself 5 seconds, just enough time to gather your thoughts and decide whether your response will add value to the situation. More often than not, silence will be more powerful than anything you could say. It's not about avoiding confrontation. It's about controlling the situation by not giving in to emotional pulls. Imagine today, instead of reacting impulsively, you choose silence in moments of conflict. You allow space for others to confront their own emotions while preserving your own peace of mind. By doing so, you discover how much more powerful you become when you don't feel the need to prove anything with words. Rule 6. Don't expect respect. Make it necessary. How often do you find yourself seeking validation or respect from others? Whether in your career, personal life, or social circles, we all want to be acknowledged and treated with dignity. The desire for respect is natural. But here's the truth. Respect is not something you demand. It's something you earn and make inevitable. The more you chase approval, the less likely it is to come. The most respected people are those who command respect without asking for it, who live in a way that clearly shows they are worthy. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking external validation, trying to impress others, gain approval for your actions, or constantly explaining yourself to be understood. But we often forget that respect isn't a transaction or something you can beg for. Respect is the natural byproduct of how you carry yourself, your values, and your actions. When you live a life that reflects integrity, strength, and self-awareness, respect naturally follows. The Stoics understood that true respect comes not from demanding it, but from living in a way that makes it undeniable. They emphasized personal virtue, acting with honesty, humility, wisdom, and self-discipline. By embodying these qualities, they became figures worthy of respect without ever having to ask for it. Marcus Aurelius, for example, didn't need to boast about his power as a Roman emperor. His actions and character spoke for themselves. Building on the idea of living authentically to naturally command respect, let's delve deeper into how to make respect inevitable in your life and preserve your inner strength by never showing your weaknesses to those who cannot help you. Think about how often you try to earn respect by proving yourself or fitting into molds that others admire. The truth is, when you seek approval or validation, you weaken your own standing. You give away your power to others. But when you stop seeking respect and instead focus on living in alignment with your true self, respect becomes necessary. People will respect you not because you ask for it, but because your presence, integrity, and actions demand it. So, how can you make respect inevitable in your life? Start by focusing on your own integrity and actions. Stop seeking validation or approval from others, and instead live in a way that aligns with your values. Lead by example. Be someone who embodies respect, kindness, and strength, and watch as others begin to recognize and respond accordingly. When you stop chasing respect and start living in a way that naturally commands it, you create a life where your worth is never in question. Imagine today, instead of chasing others' approval, you live in such a way that respect becomes a natural outcome. You don't need to seek validation because your actions, behavior, and sense of self make respect inevitable. By doing this, you stop living for others' approval and start living for your own authenticity, creating a life where respect flows freely and naturally. Rule 8. Never show your weaknesses to those who cannot help you. Have you ever found yourself opening up to someone about your struggles, only to realize later they couldn't offer any real help? In fact, their reaction may have even made you feel worse or exposed you in a way that left you vulnerable. Vulnerability is important, but revealing your weaknesses to those who cannot truly support or guide you only leaves you exposed and potentially powerless. True strength comes from understanding when to share your struggles and with whom. We often feel the need to vent or express our pain to others, hoping for empathy or advice. But here's the truth. Not everyone is equipped to help you with your struggles, and sharing your weaknesses with the wrong person can do more harm than good. When you share your pain with someone who cannot provide a solution or genuine support, you risk feeling misunderstood, invalidated, or even judged. This doesn't mean you should never open up. It means choosing the right person to confide in is crucial for protecting your emotional well-being. The Stoics were keenly aware of the importance of self-reliance. While they didn't discourage connection or seeking guidance, they emphasized the power of handling your struggles with resilience and inner strength. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of processing personal struggles internally, cultivating inner strength, and only seeking guidance from those who could truly help. They understood that revealing your weaknesses to those who can't help doesn't empower you. It weakens you. Think about how often you've vented to someone and walked away feeling even more drained or exposed. Venting isn't always helpful if the person you're confiding in isn't the right one. Building on the idea of choosing the right people to confide in and protecting your emotional well-being, let's now explore how to handle emotionally charged Individuals, those with whom arguing often only leaves you exhausted. Venting or sharing your pain is truly beneficial only when the person you confide in is emotionally involved and capable of offering constructive advice. If you share your struggles with someone who is emotionally detached or unable to provide meaningful support, instead of feeling strengthened, you may end up feeling unsupported, more vulnerable, or even judged. On the other hand, when you choose to open up to someone who understands, who can offer practical guidance or genuine empathy, you create a space for growth, healing, and strength. So how can you avoid exposing your weaknesses to the wrong people? First, recognize when sharing your struggles will bring no real benefit. Ask yourself, is this person equipped to help me, or am I just seeking validation? If the person you're confiding in can't provide advice, empathy, or truly helpful support, it might be time to hold back. Instead, focus on sharing your vulnerabilities with those who can offer constructive solutions, support, and understanding. This doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means being mindful of who you let in and knowing when to protect your emotional boundaries. Imagine today, instead of opening up to anyone who will listen, you choose to share your struggles with those who can actually offer guidance and support. You stop seeking validation and start seeking constructive help, ensuring that your vulnerabilities are shared with those who can truly make a difference. By doing this, you protect your emotional well-being while also building stronger, more meaningful connections. Rule 9. Don't argue with emotional people. Let them destroy themselves. Have you ever been caught in an argument with someone so emotionally charged that no matter what you say, nothing seems to get through? It's a frustrating experience, isn't it? You try to reason, you try to make your point, but their emotions take over and the conversation escalates into chaos. In these moments, the smartest thing you can do isn't to engage or fight back, but to stay calm and remove yourself from the situation. Emotional people aren't looking for solutions. They're looking for validation of their feelings. Arguing with them only drags you into their storm. The Stoics understood the importance of emotional discipline. They knew that when emotions take the wheel, logic and reason are often sidelined. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, advised his followers not to engage with people driven by unchecked emotions because, in those moments, rational thought isn't possible. When someone is in the grip of anger, frustration, or extreme emotion, their ability to listen, process, or understand is severely diminished. The more you argue, the more you fuel their emotional reaction. It becomes a cycle that doesn't end with understanding, but with further division and resentment. Think about how many times you've tried to argue with someone emotionally charged, only to find that no matter how calm or reasonable you were, they didn't hear you. Maybe it's a heated conversation with a friend, family member, or colleague, where the more you try to explain, the worse the situation becomes. In these moments, the argument isn't about finding common ground. It's about emotions, pride, and the need to be right. The more you engage, the more emotionally entangled you become, making productive conversation nearly impossible. The key to dealing with emotionally charged people is not to engage in the argument, but to stay composed and let them work through their emotions on their own. You don't need to prove a point or win an argument. Your peace of mind is more important than being right. When you refuse to be pulled into emotional chaos, you show strength and self-control. You don't let their emotional outbursts control your state of mind, and often when people are left alone to sit with their own emotions without further provocation, they begin to building on the power of maintaining calm and self-control around emotionally charged people. Let's explore how to cool down and reflect rather than get caught up in needless conflict. When someone tries to provoke you emotionally or pull you into an argument, the wisest response is to take a deep breath and pause before reacting. Instead of immediately responding, calmly acknowledge their feelings but resist the urge to argue or defend yourself. If they continue to escalate, politely remove yourself from the situation or steer the conversation toward a more constructive direction. You might say something like, "I understand you're upset, but I don't think this conversation will be productive right now." By staying calm and composed, you maintain control of the situation and protect your peace of mind. Imagine today, instead of being drawn into a pointless argument with an emotional person, you choose to step back, remain calm, and avoid the chaos. You understand that some arguments aren't meant to be won, they're meant to be avoided. By doing this, you not only preserve your peace of mind, but also send a clear message that you are in control of your emotions and interactions. Rule 10. True intelligence is acting with a cool mind in hot situations. How many times have you found yourself caught up in a stressful or heated situation, only to realize afterward that your reaction was impulsive and not well thought out? In moments of chaos or pressure, it's easy to let emotions take over and make decisions you regret later. True intelligence lies in your ability to stay calm and rational when everything around you seems to be falling apart. The ability to think clearly under pressure, without letting emotions cloud your judgment, is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Whether it's a conflict with a loved one, a critical decision at work, or an unexpected challenge, your mind can easily become clouded by emotion. Anger, fear, frustration, or anxiety can hijack your logical thinking, leading to rash decisions or actions you'll later regret. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, emphasize the importance of maintaining a cool mind in hot situations. They understood that emotional responses often lead us astray, and that true wisdom comes from detaching yourself from the situation, assessing it rationally, and responding with purpose. Think about how many times you've acted in the heat of the moment only to realize that your emotions pushed you into choices you wouldn't have made had you taken a step back. Whether snapping at someone, making a hasty decision, or reacting impulsively, these moments often cause unnecessary conflict or poor outcomes. But when you stay calm in the midst of chaos, you can think more clearly, make better informed decisions, and maintain control over your responses. The Stoics didn't just preach staying calm, they practiced it daily. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself in his meditations that he couldn't control external events, but could control his reactions. When faced with criticism, challenges, or setbacks, he focused on maintaining composure, knowing it was the only way to keep his peace of mind and make the right decisions. This is the essence of true intelligence, the ability to remain calm no matter how heated the situation. So how can you start applying this principle today? When you find yourself in a stressful situation, take a deep breath before reacting. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would I do if I were thinking rationally? By taking that brief moment of calm, you give yourself the chance to respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. The more you practice this, the better you'll become at staying grounded and making decisions that align with your long-term goals, rather than being swept away by temporary emotions. Imagine, today, instead of being carried away by stress or frustration, you choose to step back, take a breath, and respond with a calm, clear mind. By doing so, you'll not only navigate situations more effectively, but also strengthen your ability to stay in control of your emotions, no matter how intense the circumstances may be. As we've explored today, mastering your mind and learning to stay calm in any situation isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about choosing how you respond to life's inevitable ups and downs. True power comes from separating feelings from reactions, embracing discomfort, and remaining composed when the world around you is chaotic. By following these 10 unbreakable mental rules, you begin to take control of your emotional world, giving yourself the strength to navigate anything life throws at you with clarity and purpose. Remember, it's not the events in life that define you. It's how you choose to respond to them. The more you practice these principles, the stronger, more resilient, and more unshakable your mind will become. So today, I challenge you to start applying these rules in your own life. In moments of stress, pause and remember that you have the power to choose your reaction. In moments of conflict, remember that silence can be more powerful than words. And in moments of chaos, remember that true intelligence is acting with a cool mind. Your peace of mind is yours to control. Don't let anyone or anything take that from you. Stay calm, stay focused, and watch as your life transforms into one that is truly unbreakable.